Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to my final play. I'm Brian. I'm here with former baseball player Casey Waller. Casey, thanks for joining us here today.
I appreciate it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get right into the first thing as far as baseball. How long did you play, and for how many teams or what teams did you play for?
Well, I played since I was 5 years old. I remember playing t-ball, wearing my hat down. I thought I was a ball player right from the get-go. I had my hat down low, and I was a ball player right from the beginning. But I played t-ball, and then I played Major League Baseball. I played high school baseball. I had the opportunity to go to Virginia Tech on a full scholarship to play under Coach Hartman, one of my best coaches I ever played for. Then I had an opportunity to play with the Philadelphia Phillies in the minor leagues. And then after that, I went with the Florida Marlins. And then I also played in independent ball out in Canada. So traveled to a lot of places playing ball.
Definitely a lot of experiences. So as far as baseball and how you identified as a baseball player for all those years, do you remember your final experience as a player and the emotions that went along with that?
Yeah, talking to you here the last few weeks, it just allowed me to reflect on, when I was a ball player, my last time. I never thought that a certain play was going to be my last play. I never thought about that. Although with injuries nowadays, you never know when your last play is. So I always tried to play the game, to the best of my ability and give 100%. And that's one thing my dad instilled in me, play the game the right way. But, when I got released from the Philadelphia Phillies organization, I had asked for my release at that time. I was going through a tough time mentally, just by not playing every day, playing one every 4 or 5 days. And it was a grind. It was a mental grind on me at that time. And so I actually got released on April Fool's Day. And so April Fool's Day is not a good day for me. I thought it was a joke. I had the best year of spring training that I ever had with the Phillies. I believe they should have released me the 5 years before that because I didn't have a good spring training. But I got released on April Fool's Day with the Phillies organization. Then I ended up going to Canada and played in Canada. The Florida Marlins ended up picking me up. One of the scouts with the Florida Marlins, he coached me when I played in the Cape Cod League, a summer league after I played college ball. And they gave me an opportunity to play. I think I had about 18 or 19 at-bats, and I remember getting called into the office and I got released from the Marlins. It was back during the replacement ball. Mm-hmm. And I didn't sign a replacement contract. I didn't feel in my heart that that's what I wanted to do and that's what I needed to do. So I signed, to play in the minor leagues, which you're making, $2,500, $3,000 a month for 6 months of the year. You're not making a lot of money. So when I got released, I had a bitter taste in my mouth, from the game. And I don't think that I was mad at the game. I was just mad at a lot of things behind the scenes that you have no control over. So when I got released, I kind of pulled away from baseball. I didn't watch baseball on TV. I just didn't want to be around it, didn't want to talk it. And, then I had an opportunity to go to play baseball again in the Northern League. And I went back to Canada and played and actually started enjoying the game of baseball again, playing every day. And it reminded me back in my childhood when we played travel ball. Travel ball was just going from neighborhood to neighborhood. We didn't pay money to play baseball. We played with a wooden bat and a tennis ball, and we just had a good time and enjoyed the game and enjoyed each other's company. But as far as my last bat, I would say I believe in Canada. I can't even recall my last bat. I can't even recall the last play, which is unfortunate. I don't know if I suppressed all that, the memories that I've had. I had great memories, but I also had some tough times during baseball that maybe I chose to block out for whatever reason. But, my best friend, I told you before, he can tell you every pitch, from Little League all the way up to high school, college. Unfortunately, I can't do that. So.
All right. Well, as far as my final play, and painting that picture,
okay.
It definitely the emotion and the character that you can build up until that point. Mm-hmm. So when you realized that you weren't playing, what did you do from there, and how did you take what you learned in building character up to that point into what it is that you're doing now?
Well, my real dad left when I was 3, and my stepdad, he raised me since I was 5 years old, and he and my mom, both taught me to have integrity, to have character, to play the game the right way. hustle on and off the field. You know, that's just the way you play the game. It was old school baseball.
Yeah.
You didn't jog on the field. You didn't disrespect the game. You played the game the right way. So I tried to do that all the way up, you know, until I got released. I do believe, you know, when I got out of high school, when I got to college, I believe I got sidetracked, whether it was with girls or out going to some parties and stuff, doing that, you know, which I wish I would have stayed focused on ultimately what was most important to me. But in hindsight, I can't be honest with myself, and I wouldn't be honest with you if I didn't say I didn't get sidetracked on some of that. But I believe when I went to the ballpark that I was ready to play every day. I believe I was prepared to play every day. But when I got out of baseball, I was lost. I mean, when I got released from playing the game that I truly loved, you know, I didn't have a sense of identity, who I was. I was always a baseball player. Everything I did revolved around the game of baseball. You know, I eat it, I breathe it, I sleep it, you know, 24/7. That's what I did. And that's what my passion was. And it's still today is my passion. But once I got out of it, I realized I was lost. I really didn't know what to do. So I was picking up odd jobs here and there. I helped my father-in-law at the time do plumbing, and I was doing that for a while. I actually worked at Thermocore, and I worked at several other factories. And then it got to the point I said, I'm going to go finish my degree. You know, I went back to Virginia Tech, and I drove back and forth every weekend, you know, to see my family, you know, to see my son, to see my wife. And that was tough, being away. But I knew ultimately that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to finish my education, and that was important to me. So I actually, I've been teaching now for 17 years. I teach health and physical education. I enjoy teaching, but it is not my passion. But I enjoy seeing kids. I enjoy seeing them get it. You know, I enjoy seeing a smile on their face. I enjoy seeing them be confident in their abilities. So baseball has afforded me the opportunity to get an education, you know, health and PE, but also to be educated and just common sense and learning how to deal with people, you know, on and off the field. So actually I was able to, you know, get a coaching job. Tim Fosnot, who was the coach at Loyal Sock, where I currently teach, he stepped down and he encouraged me to, you know, to coach. And I did, and I coached at Loyal Sock for 6 years. Ended up leaving Loyal Sock. My wife was pregnant at the time, stepping down, and decided a week later after I stepped down I wanted to put back in. That opportunity did not afford itself, so I was angry at some of the politics that goes on in baseball, as with any business.
Yeah, right.
You know, there are politics everywhere. So I ended up going down to Hughesville, helping one of my friends out, and I did that, and I enjoyed, you know, just a passion of teaching the game, teaching kids how to play the game. And then one of my friends at Hughesville that I was helping coach, his dad passed away of cancer, and his son ended up moving to Vegas. And some of the people at Hughesville wanted me to put in at Hughesville. So I ended up putting in at Hughesville, coached there for 6 years, and decided to step away from the game here in 2016, I believe. So the last couple of years I've not been coaching. And my wife says I've been a bear at home to live with, you know, when I'm not coaching. Because when I go to games and I see kids not hustle or do something to disrespect the game, it's hard to see that. So actually, one of my good friends, Chris Kish, who's coaching at Hughesville now, he's a head coach. He asked me to help him out this year, so I'm going to be an assistant coach and help him out, which is tough because my stepson Connor plays at Loyal Sock. So, you know, we have to coach against them and coach against kids that are in my class.
Right.
So, but it's still the beauty of the game and playing the game and being involved around the game and appreciating the game and. But, you know, that final play, it really sticks in my mind. You know, I think of my final moment coaching. Mm-hmm. My final moment coaching, I can tell you that. You know, that was the last game. I think we had played Warrior Run. We had beat them during the regular season in 2016. And then in the playoffs, we ended up losing 11-8. And everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And I believe God was looking down and saying, Case, it's not your time. This is not the team. And for whatever reason. I believe we had a strong team that year, and, you know, the same thing. Even guys that have not produced for whatever reason, you want them to produce, and you don't want guys to get hurt. My son got hurt this year in football and broke his collarbone, and he missed 7 or 8 games, and it could have been his last play.
Right.
So how would he have felt if it was his final play on the football field? Did he give every game to the game? Mm-hmm. Did he, or did he cheat himself?
Right.
So that's where I'm at. Try to instill passion and hunger and thirst in everything you do.
Right. Well, at least even in having that final play as a player, the game is still teaching you something every day. So that's definitely cool to see.
The game teaches you humility and teaches you to be humble, because once you got it figured out, you'll never have the game figured out. and that's what I've learned. No matter how good a team you think you have on paper, or no matter how good you feel you are as a coach, or how good you feel you are as a player, you can always run up against other players or other coaches that may be more prepared, or it just wasn't your day that day. And you have to be able to handle the losses, and that's the beauty of the game.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, that definitely sums up, your experiences, and it's definitely awesome to hear your insight and the bits in the stories that you've had to share with us. So I definitely appreciate it. Guys, I hope you found that entertaining and can learn something from it. Tune in and subscribe to us down below on the link, and stay tuned for next week. Remember, whatever you do today, approach it with the mindset of, is this my final play?